your seat and wait for a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start the forum right now, so would you please take your seat. Thank you for your cooperation. それではこれから本フォーラムのメンバーをご紹介。
Now we would like to introduce the member of this forum. Facilitator is the Special Advisor to the Secretary of General of the UN, Secretary General of the UNWTO, Ms. Anita Mendirata.
Your Excellency, Mr. Keiichi Ishii, the Minister of Land, Infrastructure and Transport and Tourism of the beautiful country of Japan, Honorable Ministers and Secretaries of Tourism, Honorable Heads of Delegations, distinguished guests, our partners from the WTTC and PATA, leaders from across Japan and the world, ladies and gentlemen, our dear friends, all protocols observed. Konnichiwa, ohayo gozaimasu. And a very warm welcome to this special Global Tourism Forum here in beautiful, beautiful blue sky Tokyo. It is my great honor and pleasure to be your MC and your moderator for the forum this morning and into the afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a time in which the world is struggling to find a shared way of communicating, a shared way of connecting, and a shared compassion. As stated just yesterday by His Excellency Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations at the General Assembly taking place in New York right now, we are a world in pieces. We need to be a world in peace. It is tourism that is bringing people from different parts of the world, different thinking, and different ideologies together. Different cultures and different places around the world unite through tourism. Our world needs tourism, which is why 2017 is being honored worldwide as the United Nations International Year of Sustainable Tourism and Development, as we've heard this morning and as we've heard since January the 1st. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our opportunity to celebrate and to showcase to the world the way in which our sector brings together economies, elevating people, elevating societies, preserving and protecting cultures, and celebrating and preserving the environment in which we live. Coinciding the celebration of 2017 as the International Year, as declared by the United Nations, the Global Tourism Forum is being held here today as a vital part of Tourism Expo Japan 2017, which will focus, as we know, on sustainable tourism for development. With world leaders in tourism uniting here in Tokyo, the Global Tourism Forum consists of two parts. Firstly, we will start with special keynote addresses, which are going to be delivered by some of the greatest tourism leaders that we have in our community, they delivering us speeches this morning. We will then continue into the first ministerial roundtable in collaboration with the UNWTO, which will be taking place around the theme of sustainable tourism for development. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce my next speaker, I need to link to a comment that was made by some of our earlier speakers this morning. We are amongst friends, and friends unite when they celebrate, like we do in 2017, the International Year of our sector for sustainable development, but we also unite when our friends need help. We have a very special friend who was going to deliver the keynote address, His Excellency, the Honorable Secretary of Tourism of Mexico. This fine, fine gentleman flew all the way from Mexico to arrive here yesterday morning to Japan to find out that his home was reduced to rubble by Mother Nature when an earthquake hit. All of us here in Japan know what that means and how devastating that can be. Still, this fine gentleman appeared at our host's offices, made a courtesy call, had some time, and then literally hours later proceeded to get back on the plane, to go and travel all the way home to take care of his family and his people. He has in his place a fantastic representative who's going to be delivering a speech. But before we do, can I ask you all to stand for a moment of prayer and solidarity for the people of Mexico and those in the Caribbean and the Americas who are suffering now because Mother Nature's just had a very bad day. Ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Please be seated. I now give you, ladies and gentlemen, a beautiful representative of a country that needs our prayers, our support, and our celebration. Please welcome to the stage Javier Guillermo Molina, the Head of International Affairs and Cooperation for Mexico, on behalf of His Excellency, the Honorable Minister of Tourism. Dear friend.
Muchas gracias a todos. Good morning, everyone. Muchas gracias, Anita. Honorable ministers and secretaries, excellencies, colleagues, dear friends. On behalf of our Minister Enrique de la Madrid and the people of Mexico, I want to thank you and all of the international tourism community for all the support during this difficult time. Minister de la Madrid had to fly back to Mexico City yesterday to lead our sector in the recovery effort. We're working very hard to help our fellow Mexicans. The minister considers Japan as a strategic partner and a friend, and he wanted his message to be delivered in this important event. Thank you to the gracious organizers for allowing us the opportunity to share with you some words about our country. This is the minister's message. I am honored to be here today with all of you. I want to thank all the organizers for their invitation and warm welcome. First, I would like to give a brief overview of our growth and perspectives in Mexico. After that, I will elaborate on the role of that tourism has played in Mexico in the issues of social inclusiveness, employment, poverty reduction, preserving cultural values, diversity, heritage, and all part of the agenda of this forum. Our history of progress in more than 2 centuries since our independence, becoming a developed country with freedom and equal opportunities for everyone, has been the spirit on which our nation is based. Thanks to the efforts of entire generations of Mexicans, today our country shows significant advance towards that goal. Mexico has transitioned from illiteracy to full basic education coverage. From a rural population to 80% of Mexicans living in cities. From a 34-year life expectancy to 77 years. Our political landscape also changed. We've become a democracy where plurality prevails. Several political forces are represented, and elections' outcomes are respected. Government transitions have been peaceful for almost 90 years. Mexicans have also proven to be determined in the face of challenges and have come together when change is needed. During the 80s, Mexican economy faced one of its most difficult moments. Back in 1982, our economy depended on oil for 70% of its exports and most of its public budget. Foreign debt skyrocketed, inflation surged, and our options were few. With interest rates and low oil prices, a profound change in the Mexican economic model needed to be made. By opening our borders, signing trade agreements, reducing the state's role in the economy, among other measures, we transformed an economy with heavy government intervention into a competitive, free market economy. We transitioned from a closed, heavily dependent on single commodity economy to one of the world's most open and diversified. Thanks to the successful integration and productive chains that run across North America, we have built one of the most competitive regions in the world. Today, we are a fully diversified economy. We are the world's fourth largest exporter of automobiles, the first of flat-screen TVs, the first exporter and producer of avocado, the first exporter of beer, and the 8th most visited country in the world. On this journey, Mexico has confronted all kinds of challenges, from an economic crisis to devastating earthquakes, but has always managed to emerge stronger and better positioned. Like the rest of the world, we are going through big changes. We are currently in the process of updating our legal framework of commerce with our main trading partners. I am certain that at the end we will emerge better adapted, more diversified, competitive, and ready. There is no turning back for Mexico. Our future lies in continuing the path that we chose 3 decades ago, one of openness, trade, competitiveness, and efficiency. We will take advantage of the skills, experience, and tools that we have developed as an integrated region and put them to good use, to forge equally successful relationships with new partners from around the globe. Mexico has plenty of competitive advantages: low inflation, strong public finances, more than 13 trade agreements with access to more than 63 markets worldwide, industrial capabilities, and high-end production know-how, a young and numerous population of more than 120 million customers, which means a strong domestic economy, and a tourism sector with unlimited potential, thanks to our magnificent weather, amazing beaches, unique cultural background, and our rich and diverse natural resources. To make us even more competitive, at the beginning of this administration, a complete set of structural reforms were approved with the consensus of the main political forces of our country. These reforms overhaul sectors such as telecom, banking, legal, energy, and fiscal, among others, all of them central for our future development. Being an open economy with strong global relationships has been key for Mexican development, and it will be the path to follow. As a result of this transformation process, Mexico has built successful sectors that are well integrated in the global economy, such as manufacturing, financial services, agro-industry, and of course, tourism. Today, like I said, we are the 8th most visited country in the world, and number 14 in receipt. Tourism has become one of the largest sectors of our economy, accounting for 8.7% of our GDP, more than oil, mining, construction, the primary sector, or the financial services sector. As a labor-intensive sector, tourism directly and indirectly employs 10 million Mexicans, with a job growth rate above the average. For so low-income regions of Mexico, tourism represents the most feasible change to transform their context by providing jobs and income. 9 Mexican states with the higher growth rates in the past 5 years are those with either a strong export sector or a dynamic tourism industry. Additional benefits have been diversification of income sources and a growing environmental consciousness. As I said before, even though some inequality between individuals and regions persists, Mexico is making a steady progress in social inclusiveness and poverty reduction. As an activity that demands a great diversity of products and services, our tourism offers wide opportunities to integrate an ever-increasing number of people and enterprises to its value chain. Our ministry has the role to promote and coordinate initiatives and programs that take advantage of this potential for social inclusiveness. We recently launched a very new program specially designed to finance the development of tourism products in communities smaller than 50,000. Its objective is to help upgrade infrastructure and to generate products and services around an attractive tourism asset. In order to diversify income sources, bring development and promote the well-being of rural communities. By accomplishing this, we encourage the population to stay and take care of their local environment, avoiding the economic and social stress of migration to big cities. This is an example of the power of tourism to transform in a positive way the lives of millions of human beings that are today still waiting for a chance. We must keep an open mind to overcome the limitations of budgets, borders, ideology, and any other obstacle in order to expand the role of our industry in accomplishing the goals of sustainable development. Mexico is a mega-diverse country in environmental terms, with 12% of all living species known to science living in our territories, with 68 linguistic groups with 365 variants. We are also a culturally mega-diverse nation. In other words, a world in itself, as our friend Taleb Rifai once said. Also, our country is home to historic ancient civilizations. Then came a rich colonial period of more than 200 years of independent life, all of which makes us a nation with a cultural heritage and a history difficult to match. Accordingly, Mexico is one of the countries with the highest number of cultural assets and World Heritage sites. 187 archaeological sites open to visit, 34 UNESCO World Heritage sites, the most in the Americas, 8 UNESCO Intangible World Heritage assets. My favorite, Mexican food, being the most recently included in the list. On one side, this comes with a great responsibility to preserve, but also it represents a great opportunity to take advantage of. To better preserve a site or an intangible asset, our goal has always been to find a way in which it creates opportunities to improve the living standards of the community that harbors it. Tourism has proved to be an effective way to accomplish this in a sustainable manner. In Mexico, we have many examples of how these tourism activities are helping to preserve these cultural values, diversity, and heritage. I am convinced that through creativity and talent, more ways can be found to make tourism the prime strategy to preserve the world's cultural and natural heritage. At last, I want to seize this valuable occasion to invite you to Mexico, not only to witness all of the advances we have just mentioned and all we have to offer, but to take note of the opportunities that lay ahead and to be part of this success story. Thank you again for your attention, and Viva Mexico. Thank you.
Javier, muchas gracias. We thank you and we stand with you. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure to welcome to address you all one of the longest standing, shall we say, honorable ministers of tourism across the world, and dare I say, one of the most graceful standing as well. Please welcome to the stage the Honorable Dr. Seri Mohammed Nazri bin Abdul Aziz, the Honorable Minister of Tourism of Malaysia.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, ohayo gozaimasu. First and foremost, I wish to express my sincere appreciation and congratulations to the Japan Association of Travel Agents, JATA, for organizing the Global Tourism Forum in conjunction with the Tourism Expo Japan 2017. I would also like to thank JATA for inviting me to deliver a keynote address at this forum. Tourism is one of the key sectors in international trade and one of the main wealth creators for many developing countries, including Malaysia, especially in producing economic and employment benefits, as well as in the protection and promotion of our natural and cultural heritage in many related sectors from construction to agriculture and telecommunications. Now, these dynamics have turned tourism into a key driver for socio-economic progress in nations worldwide, as we are moving to an economic growth scenario that is more inclusive and sustainable. Sustainable tourism development is no longer just a mere cliche, but has become a major contributor to a more environmentally sustainable economy. In the case of Malaysia, tourism has been identified as one of the 12 National Key Economic Areas, the NKEAs, to propel the country's economic transformation. Now, in this regard, the Malaysia Tourism Information Plan, MTTP, was formulated and implemented in 2011 to help achieve the target of 36 million international tourist arrivals and generating USD 40.8 billion in tourism receipts by 2020. The MTTP is expected to transform the tourism landscape to be more vibrant and competitive, with tourist arrivals increasing by 1.5 times and tourist expenditures expanding by 3 times by 2020. Business opportunities in areas such as hotels, food and beverage outlets, transportation, as well as tour operators and travel agencies have been identified. These initiatives are projected to generate USD 16.3 billion in terms of GNI and create 500,000 additional job opportunities by 2020. In this context, 12 entry point projects, the EPPs we call it, have been developed to support the MTTP, and among them is establishing Malaysia as a global biodiversity hub, which aims to increase tourism revenue by establishing the country as one of the world's premium nature and ecotourism destinations. Ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, I would like to take this opportunity to share with you some of the ongoing initiatives on the development of sustainable tourism in Malaysia. We have formulated the National Eco-Tourism Plan 2016-2025 to maximize the potential of ecotourism and ensure sustainability. The plan also embodies the spirit of the theme, uplifting communities, opportunities, and economies. This theme focuses on the outputs, outcomes, and benefits of ecotourism, which is the left-hand side of the equation. But more importantly, the right-hand side variables involving the inputs of responsible tourism and sustainable development policy and practices are accorded due priority in the plan. Ecotourism, a sunrise industry, is increasing in popularity across the world. According to the NWTO, ecotourism, nature, heritage, culture, and adventure are expected to grow rapidly over the next 2 decades, and global spending will increase at a higher rate than the overall growth of tourism. Based on the estimates of the International Ecotourism Society, ecotourism is projected to grow by 25% of the global tourism market within 6 years and generate USD 470 billion in tourist receipts. As for Malaysia, the data does not cater to a dedicated category on ecotourism. The departing visitor survey, however, provides information on the major activities engaged by tourists visiting Malaysia. In this regard, the survey findings indicate that 30.4% of tourists are engaged in walking, hiking, and trekking-related activities, which is related to ecotourism. This implies that ecotourism is relatively popular amongst tourists to Malaysia. Ecotourism is a term which basically means responsible tourism. It plays an important role in reducing the loss of biodiversity in the region and is able to provide an alternative source of income, becoming a positive economic incentive for communities that would otherwise utilize the forest in destructive ways, such as logging and agriculture. This is in line with the mantra of the Ministry of Tourism and Culture Malaysia that tourism protects, preserves, and conserves Mother Nature, culture, and heritage. In addition, the 11th Malaysia Plan, 2016 to 2020, a 5-year development plan, amongst others, is geared towards attracting high-yield tourists to further increase the industry's contribution to the economy. The strategies include upgrading and development of ecotourism infrastructure, enhancement of offerings, capacity building, and implementation of sustainable tourism development, best practices as well as marketing and promotion. To strengthen our position as one of the leading destinations for ecotourism in the region, measures have been undertaken to position Perhentian Island, one of the best-known islands in the world, in Terengganu, as a premier tourism, eco, and adventure destination. Through this latest initiative, we aim to emulate the success of Langkawi Island, which is renowned as an ecotourism geopark and island tourism destination in the world. In recognition of our ecotourism initiative, Malaysia was awarded the Best Eco Vacation at the 5th National Geographic Traveller Awards, Top Travel Destination of 2015 by the National Geographic Traveller magazine. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a fundamental requirement of the tourism sector is that it should embrace the principles of sustainable tourism and focus on the achievement of sustainable development goals. Sustainable tourism should not be regarded as a separate component of tourism, as a set of niche products, but rather as a condition of the tourism sector as a whole, which should work to become more sustainable. The UNWTO has defined sustainable tourism as tourism that takes full account of its current and future economic, social, and environmental impacts, addressing the needs of visitors, the industry, the environment, and host communities. The UNWTO also acknowledged Malaysia's effort in promoting community-based tourism through the Malaysian Homestay Experience Program, which won the Alessis Award for Innovation in Public Policy and Governance by UNWTO in 2012. Our homestay program is a classic example of a rural ecotourism program which empowers the communities to uplift their income and quality of life. This program allows tourists to live with a local family, thus enabling them to experience their local lifestyle, culture, and tradition. In 2016, more than 410,522 tourists participated in the homestay program, generating USD 6.5 million to the rural economy. The homestay program also underlines the importance of conservation and environmental management. The tree planting program is a good example where visitors are given the opportunity to plant their own tree to mark their visit to a particular homestay dwelling. It also supports the idea of preserving the environment and further beautifying the landscape of the homestay. And to date, more than 16,733 trees have been planted by the homestay visitors. While we place emphasis on enhancing yield, we must be mindful not to overlook an important stakeholder of tourism, the people. Social inclusion is essential, and we need to strike a good balance between the maximization of economic returns and social returns. Thus, local involvement, enhancement of local capabilities, sense of belonging and ownership, economic empowerment and employment opportunities are essential ingredients for developing and managing ecotourism in a sustainable manner to cater to the socio-economic needs of local communities. It is also important to seek opportunities to create value innovation to enhance the ecotourism experience. For instance, initiatives to improve the training of local and special interest traditional values and ensure viable long-term economic operations, providing socio-economic benefits to all stakeholders that are fairly distributed, including stable employment and income-earning opportunities and social services to host communities and contributing to poverty alleviation. Now, sustainable tourism development entails the informed participation of all relevant stakeholders, as well as strong political leadership to ensure wider participation and consensus building. Attaining sustainable tourism is a continuous process and it requires constant monitoring of impacts, introducing the necessary preventive and corrective measures whenever necessary. Sustainable tourism should also maintain a high level of tourist satisfaction and ensure a meaningful experience to the tourists, raising their awareness about sustainability issues and promoting sustainable tourism practices amongst them. Finally, I would like to once again congratulate JATA for their remarkable effort and excellent arrangement in hosting this forum. I wish all of you fruitful deliberations and look forward to your ideas, suggestions, and recommendations to uplift sustainable tourism to even greater heights. Thank you very much.
To both of our lovely speakers this morning, a very sincere arigato gozaimasu.